up the streets vision of America. So let's see what the response is. I move that we keep Jerusalem on our party platform as the capital of Israel, and that we keep God in our party platform. That sounds a lot better than boo, don't you think? First off, before I say anything, I was looking over here at the bus. I want to let you know, when I started running for Attorney General, I'm talking early in the primary, when I was at negative 2%. In fact, I think I had my parents at maybe. My wife still wasn't sure whether or not she was going to vote for me. 60 plus was my first endorsement. And they endorsed me as a young candidate with no political experience. I would have thought, I felt like Ronald Reagan came back from the dead and endorsed me. That's how much that endorsement meant. It was a real morale boost for me. So I want to thank 60 plus for that first endorsement I received as a candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about the two visions for America, and I want to talk to you about the vision that the party up the street has. Every time I hear them talk about what they believe, every time I hear them talk about policy, I don't hear the meat of the policy. They always pit groups against groups. They always pit people against people. If it's not the rich against the poor, the young versus the old, the urban versus the rural, the corporations versus the wage earner, the wage payer against the wage earner, the urban and the rural. I mean, it's always someone against someone else. It's races against races. It's always pitting people against people. And the reason they do that is because their policies stink. They need to run against a villain. So what do? They take one demographic and they turn them into a villain. And they claim their good intentions are sufficient for you to put them back into office. Daniel Webster said that in every generation, good men, or there are men in every generation rather, who claim good intentions for every assumption of power. They mean to govern you well, but they mean to govern you. They promise to be good masters, but they mean to be masters. The end result of every good intention that they've ever had was central power and a federal bureaucracy run by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats who want to rule you by administrative fiat. We are not subjects under the king. We are citizens under the Constitution. That is one of the reasons I serve my country. That is one of the reasons I ran for Attorney General, because we have a Constitution that is on a daily basis being trampled. When you look at the intentions of this administration, you look at the National Labor Relations Board, you look at the EPA, you look at voter ID, you look at Obamacare, you look at immigration, you look at Dodd-Frank, one thing after another. What does it all lead to? Central planners who don't think you built your own business, who think they can manage your money better than you can, who want to take from the people who produce and give it to the people who take. Right now, this country is on a dangerous trajectory where the minority is supporting the majority. We cannot sustain that. We cannot sustain that fiscally. We cannot sustain that constitutionally. You have the ability. You are each force multipliers. Every single person here today is already one step ahead of your neighbor, because you could have chosen to be anywhere else. You could be at home right now watching TV or doing whatever, but you chose to be here because you care about your state and you care about your country. I want to challenge each and every one of you to be a leader. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need a position to be a leader. Leaders, and I learned this in my service in the military, leaders don't have problems. Leaders don't have problems. We're all leaders. We have opportunities. We have an opportunity to take our country back. We have an opportunity to give a message that truly is about hope and change. And I want to challenge each and every one of you today to go out in your communities and be force multipliers for liberty. Each and every one of you can bring 100 people to the polls to vote. North Carolina is a crucial battleground state. South Carolina stands ready to support you in each and every endeavor you take up here to try to reclaim our country. I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do, for the cause of freedom, the cause of liberty. Earlier it was said that I was one of 6 AGs on the Obamacare. I want to say that I was on the executive committee of AGs who led the Obamacare litigation effort. But there were actually 24 AGs, 26 states total, who took the same position that we did, that you cannot compel activity under the Commerce Clause. It was although the Supreme Court got it wrong, they got one thing right. For the first time in 80 years, they told Congress, no, we will not let you compel behavior under the Commerce Authority. That is a silver lining in a very dark cloud. Elections have consequences. In the next 4 years, The next president will get possibly up to 2 appointments on the Supreme Court. Imagine how dangerous, how deadly that could be for our country. So we have got to stand together. We have got to fight. We have got to work hard. We've got to stay positive, and we've got to be leaders. And I know that we are, because I'm looking out at a bunch of you right now. If we can ever do anything for you in South Carolina, you call us. We stand ready to come to the aid and defense of North Carolina. Thank you for allowing a visitor from the South to come up here and be with you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.